Good morning. Welcome to the City of Winston-Salem's August 2021 Public Safety News Conference. We'll have presentations this morning from Winston-Salem Fire and Winston-Salem Police Department. The fire department has 3 line-of-duty deaths to remember for the month of July. The first was Jonah Kaiser, a firefighter who was assigned to Engine 2 and was killed July 14th, 1915 at the age of 22. At approximately 7:30 p.m., a pool box was activated at the corner of North Liberty and West 4th Streets. Upon arrival, fire units found, let me get caught up on my slide, sorry. Fire units found a small fire in Miller's tailor shop due to an overheated ironing board. And in an attempt to disconnect electrical power to the ironing board, firefighter Kaiser was electrocuted and died en route to the hospital. 5 years to the day later, David Rivas was assigned to Engine 1, and on July 14th, 1920, at approximately 11:45 p.m., Engine 1 was responding to a box alarm, which we would know today as these were pool boxes that were on the streets. This preceded everybody having a telephone, and certainly before folks had cell phones. So they were responding to a box alarm and traveling on Liberty Street. As the engine approached 5th Street, a car pulled into its path. The engine's driver swerved to miss the car, and the engine spun out of control on a street that was recently wetted by a street flusher. 3 of the 5 personnel on the engine were ejected, including 27-year-old Rivas, who died in the hospital overnight. The pool box activation was determined to be false, and the errant driver fled the scene, and no one was ever prosecuted for either offense. Fire Chief Arnold Bullard, who was 55, died late in the afternoon on July 16, 1980. Earlier in the day, Chief Bullard had been assisting with the instruction of new emergency medical technicians. At approximately 4:45, Chief Bullard suffered a sudden cardiac arrest, and despite heroic efforts by firefighters, paramedics, and the medical director, Chief Bullard was pronounced dead at 5:30. Today, Central Fire Station on Marshall Street is named in Chief Bullard's honor. If you will, join me for a moment of silence to remember these 3 fallen firefighters. Thank you. Next, I'd like to recognize Assistant Chief of Logistics, Harry Brown, for receiving his Chief Fire Officer designation. The CFOD is a credential that is bestowed by the Commission on Professional Credentialing, which is a subset of the Center for Public Safety Excellence. And again, I'm going to get caught up on slides here. You gave me too much to do, Kyra. The Chief Fire Officer designation is a professional designation model that recognizes career excellence and offers strategies for continuous personal improvement and development. The application, depending on the candidate, the application runs for about 100 pages, and the candidate must highlight efforts they've made at their professional growth in areas related to experience, training, certifications, professional contributions and recognitions, technical competencies, and community involvement. They must document strategies for future career enhancement and development, demonstrate their commitment to lifelong learning, skill development, and community service, and they affirm their dedication to proficiency and delivery of all hazard services to the community. There are fewer than, so this is an internet, although the Center for Public Safety Excellence is headquartered in Chantilly, Virginia. They do operate internationally. They accredit and credential fire departments and fire officers across the world. And there are fewer than 1,600 Chief Fire Officer designees in the world. So Chief Brown, if you'll come up, sir, I will present this certificate to you. Last thing I have to talk about this morning is we typically run a citizen fire academy in the fall of the year, late summer, early fall, and it's typically an in-person delivery. But this year, due to COVID, we're going to run it virtually. And I just wanted to mention that for members of the community who would be interested in joining us. You get to learn about fire department operations. You get hands-on. Typically you would get hands-on experience with various things, tools and techniques related to fire and life safety. That'll be done virtually. In a normal year, you would do a ride-along. That'll be done virtually. So we'll have virtual station tours, virtual ride-alongs. You still are going to get to interact some with various fire department personnel. You kind of get to a virtual look at life in the day of a firefighter. Learn what it takes to be a Winston-Salem firefighter. This year, the Fire Academy will run from August 19th through September 30th. On every Thursday of those weeks from August through the end of September. You can go to our city's website, and if you'll search for Citizen Fire Academy, it'll get you in the right spot to sign up through the website. You can also call our community relations specialist, Ms. Tabitha Childress, at 734-444-0664, 734-444-0664. If you can't find it on the website, or if you just want to sign up, talking to a live person, Ms. Childress can take care of that. And the next thing, and the last thing for the fire department will be introduction of 2 new apparatus that are in the fleet, and I'm going to ask Division Chief in the logistics branch, Darryl Sawyer, to come up and introduce those 2 new apparatus.
Good morning. I'm Darryl Sawyer with the Winston-Salem Fire Department. I'm here today to highlight 2 new pieces of apparatus that's been recently added to our fleet to help our firefighters reduce the risk of catching cancer. As you may or may not know, firefighters have a 9% higher risk of being diagnosed with cancer and a 14% higher risk of dying from cancer when compared to the general population. We've added these pieces of equipment to our fleet to help reduce the chances of our personnel acquiring cancer.
The statistics spoke.
Firefighters are 9% more increased rate of getting cancer than the general public.
And the city listened.
This truck is new. It was just placed in service about 2 months ago. It's the new concept truck for the city. It's a clean cab truck. Clean cab meaning there's no air packs or no tools and equipment that carry carcinogens inside the cab. We keep them out in the compartments to kind of help cut down on the cancer risk and exposure for the firefighters.
Changes that were made to go along with the clean cab concept include air packs, flashlights, and turnout gear.
If you notice, we have a yellow set of flashlights in the window. So we have 2 sets on this truck. One set will be just for everyday use. Then we have an orange set that actually uses to go inside the fire. That way, whatever, smoke and stuff that gets on them, we're not sitting there breathing it inside the cab.
As for the turnout gear, it's only allowed in the cab if it's clean.
Once we have a fire, we bag it up, don't put it back in the cab. We go back, we wash it, and we get a new clean set of gear, and then we put that in the cab. And then the same with the air packs. Even though they're washed after every call or every fire that we have, sometimes just, crevices, and you can't get all of everything off of it.
If something does happen to make its way into the cab.
If you notice, you got the diamond plate across the floor also, and that's made where it's a washable cab, so we can pretty much take a hose, wash everything in the cab out, The seats actually have seat covers, so if they were to get dirty, we can take the seat covers off, wash them, and put them back on.
Getting used to these changes required some time and training.
We've done a lot of training on it, just kind of get used to the different of being able to get dressed in your the air pack on in the seat. But it takes about 14 seconds from the time we get on the scene, get out of the truck, to have our air pack on and going towards the fire.
What saves most of the time lost are these roll-up doors.
This is the first pumper that we have that we went with the roll-up doors.
Compared to the new roll-up doors, these older compartments take up a lot more space and can be a safety hazard to oncoming traffic.
It's also a little quicker. You don't have as much stuff to, raise up.
This truck may look more compact, but it's carrying 750 gallons of water.
This is the first truck in the city we have that carries 750. We have 2 trucks that carry 600 gallons of water, and then the rest of them are 500 gallons of water.
One of those other trucks that Captain Smith is referring to does more than put out fires on scenes.
This is a air resource. One is what we call it.
While Clean Cab Concept is helping to prevent cancer, the Air Resource Unit is there to help prevent the #2 cause of deaths for firefighters.
In the fire service nationally, the #2 killer is a cardiac event.
The Air Resource Unit 1 is used to help prevent injuries by supplying rehabilitation.
It's very hot. Our guys need to be cooled down. So this rehab, we can set up a tents, do full medical surveillance and stuff of our guys to hopefully prevent serious injuries and illness. We can catch it early, monitoring their vitals and so forth.
They are also there to help reduce sprains and strains.
We've got a hose roller that, especially as it goes to all the scenes, it's on this one truck. It'll aid you in rolling the hose, and it'll be a caddy in the back of it to help you get it back on the truck. So no one is actually picking it up, hurting themselves, straining them. So it's just another way as our department is trying to prevent injuries through back strains and sprains.
And the unit provides air on scene for firefighters.
So we can come on scene and fill bottles on scene. What we was doing before was we had a pickup truck that had bottles. We was doing a bottle exchange, and they would have to go to another site and fill bottles. Here with this apparatus here, we can fill bottles on scene.
Throughout the rehab process, cancer preventative measures are taken just like the Clean Cab Concept.
Every fire, they'll come through a water shower, washing the exterior. Once they wash the exterior, they'll remove it, because the next thing is rehabilitation of our firefighters. As they approach, they're giving a wipe, sort of kind of wipe off the main areas of entries. Cancer can enter our bodies through our neck, our faces, our hands, arms.
This isn't a truck that is called out to every fire.
Once our pumpers get on scene and confirm it's a working event, then this truck is deployed. And some of the fires are small, and by the time they get en route, they've got it knocked down and under control.
While there are only one of each of these trucks in the city currently,
There's not many in the state of North Carolina that does have the Clean Cab Concept. It's kind of a new initiative.
there will definitely be more in the future.
The city is planning on purchasing more of the Clean Cab trucks. It's a little bit of getting used to. A lot of us has been in the fire department for years, so it's a new concept, but I mean, everybody's on board.
With the City of Winston-Salem, I'm Sarah Glasgow.
Okay, as you can see, these pieces of equipment will go a long way in helping keep our firemen and women safe. We currently have budgeted in this current fiscal year 2 additional Clean Cab pumpers. That concludes the fire department's portion of the public safety conference. Next up is Assistant Fire Chief Natasha Miles. Also, if you care to check out the vehicles, the apparatus are out front for you to do a walkthrough, and they can give you a demonstration. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief Natasha Miles with the Winston-Salem Police Department. And on behalf of the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, I want to welcome you to the August 11th, 2021 Public Safety News Conference. First, please join me in honoring our fallen officers since our last Public Safety News Conference who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Lieutenant Aaron G. Tise. End of watch, June 26, 1992. The suspect was driving a stolen motor grader when Lieutenant Tise observed the crime. The suspect directed the motor grader towards Lieutenant Tice's patrol vehicle, even as Lieutenant Tise attempted to move out of the way. As the grader collided with the patrol vehicle, Lieutenant Tise attempted to exit his patrol vehicle. Lieutenant Tise was unable to get out of the vehicle and passed away at the scene. The suspect ran from the scene, but was arrested a short time later. He was convicted of charges in connection with Lieutenant Tice's death. Patrol Officer Russell M. Willingham, Jr. End of watch, July 30th, 2011. Officer Willingham was responding to assist another officer when he was involved in a single vehicle accident in the 1700 block of Vargrave Street. Officer Willingham died at the scene due to his injuries sustained from the crash. Patrolman Gurney L. Royall. End of watch, August 1st, 1941. Patrolman Paul Blackburn and Gurney Royall responded to a disturbance call at the corner of 3rd Street and Church Street in front of the Lincoln Theater. The suspect was able to gain control of Patrolman Royall's weapon and fired it 5 times. The 4th shot struck Patrolman Royall in the head, killing him instantly. Before Blackburn gained control of the suspect cut him severely on the neck with a knife. Patrolman Blackburn and other officers took the suspect into custody. Blackburn recovered from his injuries. Now please join me in a moment of silence to honor these officers, as well as the women and men across the country who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. Before I begin our upcoming events, I would like to thank the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department for risking their lives daily and for all the good work they do on a daily basis. The upcoming events, the Winston-Salem Police Foundation and the Winston-Salem Police Department will be handing out school book bags tomorrow, August 12th at 10 o'clock at the Winston Mutual Building at 1225 East 5th Street. Next, you will hear from Public Information Officer Kyra Boyd on our Paw Patrol initiatives, followed by Officer Cox on our back to school traffic safety, and our final presenter will be Sergeant Wally on gang unit updates and awards.
Good morning. Once again, I'm Kyra Boyd, the Public Information Officer for the Winston-Salem Police Department. I'm sure everyone in this room has heard of McGruff the crime dog, right? McGruff has been a law enforcement mascot for more than 40 years. He has had some great years, but unfortunately, a lot of today's youth just don't resonate with McGruff like previous generations. In 2019, Officer R.T. Hawkins from our Community Resource Unit recognized this and began to think of different ways that we could engage our youth. Officer Hawkins learned that the new rave among kids is Paw Patrol, hence the birth of the Winston-Salem Police Department Paw Patrol Pilot Program. This initiative has been in the works since 2019, but the official rollout was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Paw Patrol program seeks to engage and educate young children that are in daycares, preschools, and elementary schools about their communities and keeping them safe within their neighborhoods and beyond. Kids who participate in the program will learn personal safety tips like identifying trusted adults and how to tell someone you're lost, participate in fun learning activities such as counting, ABCs, manners and greetings, and good hygiene. Today, we'll provide a brief demonstration of one of our counting songs. You'll meet Chase, who represents the Winston-Salem Police Department, Sky, who represents the Winston-Salem Police Department drone program and the mobile command vehicle. Marshall represents the Winston-Salem Fire Department and Forsyth County EMS. Rocky is representing Go Green, the City of Winston-Salem Education Recyclable Programs. Rubble represents the Department of Transportation and Utilities Education Programs. Zuma and Tracker represent the Parks and Recreation Swim Safe and Water Rescue Programs. And last but not least, Everest represents the Snow and Icing City Streets educational programs. Please welcome Rubble, Zuma, Rocky, Sky, Chase, Marshall, Everest, and Tracker.
Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Do it all again. Do it all again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Ooh yeah, sing with me now. Ooh yeah, sing with me. Ooh yeah, sing with me now. Ooh yeah, sing with me. Ooh yeah, clap your hands now. Ooh yeah, clap your hands. Ooh yeah, clap your hands now. Ooh yeah, clap your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Do it all again. Do it all again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 and 10. Raise your hands. 9 and 10. Raise your hands. Ooh yeah, sing with me now. Ooh yeah, sing with me. Ooh yeah, sing with me now. Ooh yeah, sing with me. Ooh yeah, clap your hands now. Ooh yeah, clap your hands. Ooh yeah, clap your hands now. Ooh yeah, clap your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6.
All right, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. We look forward to bringing this program to your schools and anywhere in the community, so thank you. Next, you will hear from Officer E.A. Cox on back-to-school safety.
I'm Officer Cox, the Winston-Salem Traffic Enforcement Unit. As we get this time of year, we get closer to kids going back to school and traffic safety, so I'm going to talk about that briefly. A lot of things, a lot of complaints we get at the police department are about school bus violations. I have here the North Carolina General Statute. So what we're looking for, obviously we can't observe every one of them, or we would take action. What we're asking from the community is, when you witness this, please do everything you can to get us the information we need. It's hard at times, and we get that we can't get all of the information up front. But some of the things that you can provide are the suspect vehicle description, the color, a tag, if you can get that. Also, the suspect themselves. They could be driving a parent's car, so just the tag may not give us what we need. Here we have some illustrations of when you can pass and when you need to stop a school bus. And I have more demonstrations here. So on a 3-lane road where the center lane is a turning lane only, all lanes must stop. 2-lane road, same thing. Need to stop in both directions. And here's where it kind of gets tricky and where some people get confused. If there is a center lane where you can turn and it's a 5-lane total road, the opposite lanes of travel can go, and they don't have to stop. Same goes if there's a median barrier, but with the previous roadway with the median barrier, drivers in the other lane do not have to stop legally, but they should take caution. Now I'm going to move on to school bus stops. When kids are out, it is vital that we keep adults out there with them that are watching out, because they don't always see the dangers that adults see. They should stay out of the roadway at all times until the school bus driver directs them onto the bus. Parents should wait with them if possible, or keep them in sight at all times. We recommend they wear high visibility clothing, at all times. Also, if it's early morning hours and the sun's not quite up yet, and the street lamps are still on, they should stand under them or close to them so their silhouettes can be seen. And then if any adults do see vehicles that are reckless in the area, they should do everything they can to document these activities and the suspect information. Also, speed violations. There are 2 different main ones that I have here on the slide. Speeding in a school zone, which is the roads adjacent to the school, that will be marked as such. A different charge will be speeding on school property. This is actually on the property of the school. They are 2 different charges. Parents, teachers, and administrators should be very, they should try to document everything they can with this. It's very important that this is relayed to law enforcement so that we can take action and prevent any children from getting hurt and stop the action. If possible, people utilize smartphones and cameras all the time. This is one thing we're asking for. If you see that it's a problem, get it on camera. This gives us evidence, not only your witness statement, but it gives us evidence of the crime. A lot of schools have surveillance footage systems. As soon as an administrator can, report to wherever these camera rooms are and get us a copy of that video so we can move forward. Also, crossing guards at schools. A few different things about that. They are in control of that roadway at the time. They should be fully outfitted with high visibility clothing, a regulation size stop sign, as big as they can get for vehicular traffic. They should also be well versed in nonverbal hand gestures and cues, not only for the kids, but for people driving vehicles around. And once again, if any violations are observed, especially ones that repeat day after day, they should report this to law enforcement and take action as far as recording these actions and reporting that to law enforcement as well. So for pedestrians, looking out for pedestrians, pedestrian crosswalks, they are, by law, you do have to stop at them. You should not ever pass a car that is already stopped at one. Sometimes people cannot stop in time if their speed is too fast. They need to maintain a lower speed through those zones. And also, as I mentioned before, they need to slow down in school zones. These are just some numbers that from the past few years. 2018, this is pedestrian fatalities. There were 9, and 2019 there was 1. 2020 there was 89 total pedestrian crashes. 4 of those resulted in fatalities. 2021, as of April 2021, there were 16 total pedestrian crashes. That number has changed since. 2 so far have resulted in fatalities. 100% of these crashes occurred outside of a crosswalk, and a lot of times we see people that are not utilizing the crosswalks, unfortunately, and this is something we need to address. But another motto we have: leave sooner, drive slower, and live longer. And that's all I have. I will pass it off to Sergeant Wally.
Good morning, I'm Sergeant Wally with the Winston-Salem Police Department's gang unit, and today for this news conference I have a couple of updates for the gang unit and some things going on here in the city. First and foremost, we'd like to address that we have the North Carolina Gang Investigators Association Conference here in town. It's being held at the Benton Convention Center as we speak. This year it's August 10th through the 12th, and we've had it every year here for the last 4 years. Actually, and hundreds of law enforcement officers from across the country attend the conference to learn about gangs, gang trends, and to share intelligence. This year's conference is especially great for the gang unit and the Winston-Salem Police Department because we've received 3 awards at the state level through the NCGIA, those being the Special Achievement Award, the Civilian of the Year Award, and the Jeremiah Goodson Award. And just on a side note, the gang unit has been named the Gang Unit of the Year twice previously, in 2011 and 2016. The Special Achievement Award is awarded to any law enforcement officer and/or prosecutors involved in investigating, prosecuting a significant gang-related case in North Carolina or South Carolina. This officer devotes a significant amount of time to investigate and prosecute the mentioned case and shows dedication and goes above and beyond to combat gangs in relation to the case. And this year's Special Achievement Award was awarded to Corporal C.J. Reynolds. And we have the Civilian of the Year Award as well for Dr. Pam Peoples-Joyner, affectionately known as PPJ to everybody at the WSPD. It's awarded to any civilian involved in a gang intervention, prevention, or suppression of gangs in the community. She is involved in the creation or development of innovative ideas for gang intervention, prevention, or suppression, and shows dedication and goes above and beyond for the community. PPJ devoted a significant amount of time to gang intervention, prevention, and suppression of gangs in the community. And the highest award that the NCGIA can bestow upon an individual is the Jeremiah Goodson Award. And this year's award was presented by the daughter of the fallen officer Jeremiah Goodson to Corporal A.N. Jamerson. And this award is conferred upon an individual who has met the highest standards of excellence that Jeremiah Goodson set throughout his life. The recipient of the Jeremiah Goodson Award has made significant achievements and contributions with the dedication and determination to gang violence and keeping communities safe in the state of North Carolina. And real quick, we'll go over graffiti reporting here in Winston-Salem. There's kind of a misconception about how to report graffiti. A lot of times people will just pick up the phone when they see some graffiti and dial 911. Now, if there's something urgent going on in relation to that graffiti being observed, or it's happening right at the time that they're observing it, then 911 could be appropriate in that situation. Normally, we would request, however, that you use the non-emergency line at 773-7700, because most of the time a graffiti offense is a property crime and it's not going to be anything urgent that will require an emergency 911 call. Also, you can dial CityLink through 311 or 727-8000. You can go to the CityLink website listed on the slide right here, or they have a mobile app through the App Store or Google Play. And on the public side, which is viewable by every citizen here in Winston-Salem that goes to it, you can report the graffiti through that app and through CityLink, and then it'll be put in line to be cleaned up by the city. And finally, we have a lot of people in the community that would like to request a gang presentation. The gang unit for the Winston-Salem Police Department does provide this to neighborhood watch groups, school staff, businesses, and community groups. It's basically a Gangs 101 presentation. It's not law enforcement sensitive. It's there to assist community members and teachers, school staff to recognize signs of a potential gang problem in your area, gang presence in your school, or with your juveniles, recognizing that they may be at risk for becoming involved in gangs. So if you'd like to request a presentation from me or any of my officers on the gang unit, I have my desk phone number listed here is 986-9484, or you can email me at twally@wspd.org. Ms. Boyd?
All right, so that concludes our Public Safety News Conference. Does anyone have any questions? All right, if there are no questions, you can contact myself or Tabitha Childress. The information is on the form that we gave you if you have any follow-up questions. And if there is nothing else, what was that? Oh, there are fire trucks. Yep. Oh, the clean cab concept is demonstrated outside, so after the Public Safety News Conference, you can go outside and do a demonstration of those. All right, anything else? All right, if there is nothing else, we have officially concluded. Thank you.